welcome to Sanity with Sam. This week we are going through some things that work really well for me for anxiety. So I deal with anxiety on a fairly regular basis. I try to be good about taking medication. I will cop to not always being so great about it. Yoga and meditation has been so important for me to stay sane and to work with some more healthy coping mechanisms that don't involve curling up in a ball and crying in the corner. So, that being said, I know, Robin, I go to the grocery store now and I have like panic attacks in Market Basket. It's a disaster. So we'll get started. Just so that you're aware, this is really just from my experience. So what works for me might not work for you, but you know what, we'll give it a try. So I want you to come to a comfortable position to start. You might be seated, you might lie on your back and bring your feet to the ground. But just take a couple moments here to settle into a place where you can feel the ground beneath you and where you feel steady. Now, the one thing that I will say about the breath and anxiety, if you are somebody who has ever had a panic attack before, sometimes the deep breathing can be really hard. And occasionally, deep breathing can actually induce anxiety. It seems very counter, but that's an experience that a lot of people have. So as you come into your comfortable position and you start breathing, I want you to just keep your breath natural. Keep it a little bit rhythmic, and don't feel like you need to breathe so deeply that you're starting to see stars. You'll notice your next breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You'll do one more like that. Big breath in. Steady exhale. And then just start to tap into what you can notice in this moment. So for me, I always like to focus on the ground beneath me. I find times like this, I often compare it to feeling like somebody pulled the rug out and you just started free falling. So you feel that solid foundation. You can even notice sounds around you. I have the benefit of hearing birds chirping, but even cars driving by, dogs barking, your neighbors, any sounds that you hear are actually a way to draw yourself back to this moment and getting out of your head and into exactly where you are. So I want you to take a few breaths just to notice. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Let it be easy. Give yourself permission to simplify. And know that there's really no way to do this wrong. And as you're here, I want you to take 3 more breaths at your own pace, on your own rhythm. See what comes up. You might be comfortable where you are, and if you feel steady and you feel content, I want you to stay right there. From here, though, we're going to go through a few of my favorite yoga poses for when I get a little whipped up. The first one being child's pose. So if you'd like to join me in child's pose, you are welcome to do that. Big toes can come to touch. Knees will come out by your sides, and you'll walk your hands out in front of you. This is the standard child's pose. Bring your forehead down to the floor. And let your head rest. Now, if your head doesn't rest on the floor, you could grab a pillow, bring a pillow underneath your head. Your alternative, if this feels like too much on the hips or the shoulders, is to bring the knees together. Bring your arms back behind you. And then as you land in whatever variation you've taken here, you come right back into the breath. Right back into noticing where you are and how you're doing. And there's something about this set of poses that kind of keeps me face down, that for whatever reason allows me to feel the breath a little bit better. And again, always coming back to that sensation of just being supported. Knowing that there's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do. And again, you simplify. One breath at a time. Feeling sensations in your physical body. Hearing the sounds that are coming in right now. As you take your breaths in, you'll notice your belly kind of expanding between the legs. You let it really hang out. Let yourself have a little bit of a Buddha belly here. Deep breaths, filling the belly, the chest. Nice long exhales. Take 3 more breaths right here. And then you're welcome to stay in child's pose if you're feeling steady here. Or you'll bring your arms back out in front of you if they aren't already. Start to glide your body forward. Let your legs go back behind you. And you'll find your Sphinx pose. And so it's kind of like you're a kid watching TV here. Pressing through the tops of your feet, shoulders stack over the elbows to start. This is also a really nice way to kind of counter some of that slouching forward, taking the spine in the opposite direction, letting the heart open a little bit here. And if this feels like way too much on the low back, you'll just walk the hands out a little bit further. And taking some of that pressure off, you could also drop your chin down towards your chest. So as we go through this series of poses, you're welcome to stay in any of them that feel like they're doing the trick. Or you're welcome to kind of move with me throughout each posture. And then landing again here, you might take some neck rolls from side to side. Some of us are fidgets. I know I have a hard time staying still. Or you might find that anchor point again of the ground. And all you're really doing here is making a concerted effort to stay where you are. I say that like it's no big deal. It's literally the hardest thing you can do. And then there's times in my classes where I'll say, be with what comes up. But I actually don't want you to do that for the purposes of this. I want you to be with what's happening here. With tangible, steady things that you can tap into in this moment. The ground, the sounds, your breath. Because in this exact moment, there's nothing inherently wrong. And you're doing okay. And you'll take 3 more breaths here. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, start to let your elbows splay out by your side. You'll come all the way down onto your belly. Your head can rest on your hands, bend into your knees, and you'll windshield wiper your legs from side to side. That's just going to release some of the tension in the low back from that little stretch and compression. And then letting your legs go back long down your mat, your carpet, wherever you are. Bring your arms out like goalposts. And bring your, let's start on the right side, right cheek to the mat. So you're kind of splayed out here. You'll start to bring your left knee in towards your left elbow. So this is a half frog pose. I could stay in this posture all day long. For some reason, it is one of the most soothing postures that I've found. I could be here for 5 minutes on each side. And I think it's just that sensation of your entire body now being in contact with the mat. Where you can feel from your feet to the top of your head, everything just being held up in a way that might feel a little bit effortless, that hopefully feels a little bit effortless. And it's another place that you can really feel your breath and notice how the belly presses against the ground on an inhale. And how your body gets a little bit closer to the ground on your exhale. And if this feels like a lot on the knee, you could always bring a blanket or a pillow underneath it. You're just going to take a few more breaths on this side. Like I said, I tend to hold this one for a really long time because it just feels really good in my body. So you're welcome to stay here, or you can switch sides, bringing the left leg long. You'll turn the left cheek to the mat and then bring your right knee in towards your right elbow to get into the opposite side. I'm just going to turn my head towards the camera so that you can see and hear me. Again, right knee in towards right elbow, just like it looked on the first side. And you let yourself kind of splay out here. You're taking about 5 deep breaths, and I want you to just notice how that feels in silence. Remember that you don't need to let your brain go anywhere that you don't want it to. You are in control of your thoughts. You are in control of your body. And when you're ready, you'll bring your right leg long down the mat, and we'll take one more posture today. So this is best if you're up against a wall. I'm just going to do it up against my windows. But you're going to scooch up against a wall or something that can prop your legs up, even a chair. And then just let your legs go up a wall or a window, but find it in a place where it's supported so you don't have to feel any effort in holding your legs up. Your arms could come out by your sides. Maybe you even point and flex through the toes a little bit. Roll out through the ankles. And I purposefully left this posture for last because it's absolutely one of my favorite go-tos. I used to do this in my cubicle when I worked in an office, and I would just lie on the floor and let my legs go up. And so all that's doing is helping the blood flow a little bit more easily towards the abdomen, towards the brain, towards the heart. Your blood flow doesn't reverse, so anytime you've heard that in a yoga class, it's not true. That's not how science works. But it is how gravity works, just to take all of that grounded energy from the feet and letting that groundedness, that steadiness make its way back. Now, energetically, that makes a lot of sense. Scientifically, it is a nice way to really get a little bit more blood flow into your upper body, where normally your upper body is obviously above your feet. And so this is a beautiful posture for anxiety. I've used it for insomnia. You can stay here as long as you want. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just take 5 more breaths together. So as not to disturb you, you are absolutely welcome to stay with your legs up or stay in any of the other postures that we've taken today. Just to kind of recap my favorites: child's pose, sphinx pose, half frog on both sides, and legs up the wall. And so those are my recommendations for any anxiety or stress or strain that you might be feeling. You're welcome to continue to hang out where you are or hang out in any of those postures, taking some breaths that feel good. But most importantly, remind yourself constantly that the ground is still there, that we're all collectively experiencing this in one way or another, and that it is really hard. And so you let yourself be human. You let yourself have meltdowns if you need to. But then remember, even when it doesn't feel like it, you are in control of all of this. It is yours. It is your body. It is your breath. It is your mind. And so you take the steps you need to stay sane, to stay healthy.